In this video, we're going to create a piece that's sort of a guide, very similar shape to this pink drivetrain element we made earlier. Before we start, I'm going to show you a little render to see where we're at with this. You can see the detail on the train. It's looking really good. So just keep in mind, let's not get crazy and start getting involved with materials till we're done with the modeling process. So let's click that out, and let's come down, left viewport, unhide the blueprints once again, unhide all. No. Okay. And here we go. Click on the blueprint. I'm going to click on this pink drivetrain piece. I'm going to hide unselected. There we go. And now this piece that I'm referring to should be roughly between these two wheels. In the blueprint, it's showing right here. What I'm going to do is Shift and B. I'm going to zoom into this. And then I'm going to create this piece based on what I see here. So create panel, and we're going to go to shapes, a rectangle, and I'm going to start down here at the bottom and compass this pill shape that's right here, like a oval, and we're just going to click and drag up just like that, maybe a little higher than what we see, a little wider, just like that. I'm going to move this over a little touch. There we go. And P and Z, I'm zooming in. And what I'm going to do is, let's see, I'm not going to do corner radius this time. I'm going to convert it to an editable spline, just like this. Right click on the object or the name in the stack. Okay, and now we'll go here to vertex. Let's grab these top two and let's do a fillet. And just going to roll it up, left click. I think that looks really good. That's kind of what I'm seeing here in my reference. And let's do the same at the bottom. I'm not sure if the value will be the same. Let's do that right there. Okay. And I think what we're going to do is a little bit of a spline. Maybe we'll spline Boolean, Alt and Q, so we isolate that. I'm going to Shift B for that same view, which is back, but technically the front of the train. And now we're going to go into the create panel once again, rectangle. And what I want to do is create a similar shape right here, just like this. Let's move it, center it a little better in there, and this time let's use the corner radius. There's no harm in it, so I'm just gonna do that, convert it by right clicking on its name in the stack, editable spline, and then we have to go to vertex, select these two. We're gonna fuse then weld, same with the bottom two, fuse and weld, and then we're gonna make another shape. Very similar. I'm going to drag out a rectangle just like this, and this time I'm going to drag one out that kind of a little different, just like that, a little wider. Okay, I'm going to center them so that they're kind of spaced the way they should be, right there and right there. You see that they're kind of evenly spaced now, and I'm going to convert this one to an editable spline by right clicking on it and convert to editable spline. I'm going to attach the other one, just like that. And now we'll do a little spline Boolean. Let's go to spline, select that one. Let's do Boolean union and click on this other rectangle. Right there. There we go. And now let's go to vertex. And I want to select these two vertices. I'm going to fillet them. And I just rolled it up until it locked out. It'll reach a certain extent and stop because there's verts here. So knowing that when I just did that, we have two verts here now. So I'm going to fuse and weld. Do the same on the other side. Fuse and weld. Okay. And now we're going to select these two verts, and we're going to do the same thing. Fillet. Maybe not that much. Just like that. And I'm going to do the same at the bottom. So we have a lot of verts down here. Probably just delete those just like that. Selected them, delete. They were just artifacts from the other spline. I'm going to select these two bottom ones, and we're going to fillet. I'm going to just left click and roll up. And that looks good. That's kind of like what I was thinking. And the same up top, we're going to do a fillet here. And let's see. I think that looks good. Again, this is something I'm just making up, my own shapes. It's based on reference, but it's not exact. I don't have a blueprint of that exact piece. So I just make do with what I can do. We're going to attach these other splines to this one. Make sure they're all attached. They'll turn the same color just like that. Okay. And if we want to, we can refine. Click in some verts just like that. And we can move stuff, like make a little, little curve to it just by moving those verts in and out. There we go. Okay. So let's take a look. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a bevel modifier. And we did this earlier on another piece. I think it needs to be thicker, so I'm going to come down here. I'm going to just raise the base value just like that. And then the second value, I'm going to, there we go, change that inset value and may add a little height as well. And that's looking, I think, pretty good. Yeah, that looks good. What I can do also is we can add an edit poly above here, edit poly modifier. And if we want to, or if we need to, we can make any details we may need, adjustments, anything like that, simply by selecting elements as we did earlier in another exercise. But I think for now that's looking pretty good. Let's exit isolation. Let's unhide all. No. And now let me just make sure that this lines up where I want it to. It wants to be behind this wheel right here, so I'm going to just pull it forward with the move tool. Just like that. Shift and B. Let's see how it aligns to the piece in the front. Should be roughly centered because there's some linkage that'll be running out of the center there. That looks good. And I think that piece is done. We're going to give it a new name. It's not named yet, so let's come up to the top and name it Guide-01. And now we have that. We'll put one on the other side, and we'll also make a cross bracket, and it'll just be like a rectangular or a box that goes from this side to the one on the other side, straight underneath the belly of the boiler. It'll have some bolts to attach it on both ends. I'm going to do that when the video is paused. I'm not going to run through every step. And then in the next video, we'll make some of the linkages that drive the wheels. So I'm going to pause the video.